Today we want to show you how easy it is to use Suse Studio. First, you go to the website susestudio.com. There you need to log in and follow some login instructions. I've already set up my account and log in via Google. Now, the first thing I need to do is to create an appliance. Here you can choose from a variety of predefined settings, and I choose here KDE Desktop. I need to naturally say create this appliance. Now, once this appliance is created, I can augment it with certain features, such as which software is to be installed. I can search for specific software that I would like to install or browse it. So I can, for example, add Rasmol, which is a molecular browser, or GraphViz, which allows me to visualize graph data and dependencies. And as you see, I can simply add these software tools to the image and find even other software that I like, maybe Blender, which allows me to create some fancy graphics. Once I'm satisfied with adding all the softwares, I go to the configuration pane and have various options. Here I can, for example, specify which users can have access to the image. I can personalize maybe the image. Instead of showing a gecko, I show a penguin. I can choose the setup mechanism or the login mechanism. I can choose if I want to have databases associated with this or which programs are automatically started. Naturally, I can also specify the disk size and the memory that is being used, or if it's running on KVM and others, and add some scripts to it. Now, the one other thing that I can also do is I can associate some images or some files with my image. And here I choose a PDB file that I would like to add, and maybe some GraphViz file. But instead of storing those in root, I would really like to store them in a temporary file. Here again, I have forgotten to add the PDB file, so I do this right now. Now I click on both images and try to move them into my TMP file. So I type in TMP for both of my files, so that when I start the images, these files can be found in /TMP. Once I'm satisfied with my build, I choose what would I like to create. And here I create the SUSE cloud image as well as a VirtualBox image. And I can build them. Later on I could be, for example, exporting them. But in this particular case, I'm just going ahead and building them. Now the build process takes a particularly long time, and I will be skipping over some of the time periods. Now we are moved forward to 3 minutes 19 seconds. You can see the green bar is a little bit further along, but it's still not finished, and I have to wait a little longer. Once I wait further, here we are at 4 minutes and 22 seconds, or 26 seconds now. Now all of a sudden this status changes and the build is being run, so the image is being created because everything is now finished for me and is being stored in the repository so that I can later on access it. And this takes a little longer, and hopefully after a while the image is finished, as we can see. Now Suse Studio is also so kind to give me a notice in my operating system here through Safari and says, oh, I'm finished. And I can augment maybe a description to the image so that I can say what this image is about. Here choose, this is for example an K12 example image where I have put some software in. The software that I have put in is GraphViz, Rasmol and Blender. Now I save the summary. I go back to my build and test now out this image. This is really important. I really would like to see if this is also successful. And this is really running this image in the Suse Studio Cloud so that you can test it. One of the restrictions that exists is that this image can only run for 1 hour, but this is good enough for our examples. And if the hour is over, you can rerun this image at a later time. Now, one of the things that we need to do is when we run this image, we need to be able to connect with it from the network. So I'm switching the networking on. So in this way you can also go out and do some other things. And as you can see, this is our penguin is starting up, and it takes a little while to get this image started up. Maybe I should have cut out in our recording how long it actually takes. And after a while, the image is started. It changes because the image now runs on the cloud, and I can now log in. As we have predefined some login names, we just choose the default tags and punch in the password that we have specified. I type in return, and our login process is getting started. We log in into the image, and we are presented with a KDE Linux image that is running in the SUSE cloud. Now, one of the things that we now need naturally to do is make sure that we are waiting till the whole desktop is built up so that we can interact with it. Now this is completed, and now we can choose, for example, to execute maybe a terminal window to try to find out if our TMP files are really located in the TMP directory. So I start up my terminal just to test out if it's all working. I may test an ls. Well, something is in our directory. Now let's find out what is in TMP, and there we go. We find in TMP actually our files. Let's take a look if these files are really not empty. So I will be looking in the PDB file. Naturally, need to specify the proper directory. I cat this file, and there we are.